Breaking news. Good evening and welcome back to OI Charts Daily Market Brief for November 13, 2025. Let's look at the top financial and corporate developments shaping today's markets. First news. Torrent Group announced a massive investment plan of rupees 33,320 crore in Chhattisgarh, including rupees 22,900 crore for a 1,600 megawatt thermal power plant, boosting the state's energy capacity. Second news. Shilpa Medicare's second quarter net profit surged 144% to rupees 44 crore, with revenue up 7.6% to rupees 370 crore. Third news. Hindustan Foods posted a strong 54% rise in Q2 FY26 profit, reaching rupees 3,523 crore, supported by solid FMCG demand. Fourth news, Biocon Limited is exploring a $4.5 billion merger with Biocon Biologics, a move aimed at optimizing value and cutting its $1.2 billion debt. Fifth news, India's cement sector is gearing up for a 75% capacity expansion by fiscal 2028, adding 160 to 170 million tons, backed by rupees 1.2 lakh crore in capital expenditure. Sixth news. Tata Steel's Q2 net profit jumped 319% to rupees 3,183 crore, despite a slight decline in turnover, signaling robust operational strength. Seventh news. JSW Paints has secured rupees 3,300 crore financing for the acquisition of Akzo Nobel India, expanding its footprint in the paints sector. Eighth news. Ashoka Buildcon bagged a rupees 539 crore electrification project from Northwestern Railway, strengthening its infrastructure portfolio. Ninth news. Eicher Motors reported a 19.6% rise in net profit to rupees 1,208 crore, with revenue up 40% to rupees 5,902 crore. Tenth news. U.S. aluminum prices have climbed to a record $4,816 per ton, raising input costs for global manufacturers. 11th news. NALCO shares gained 2% to reach rupees 271.90, after posting a 37% increase in Q2 net profit to rupees 1,430 crore. 12th news. InfoEdge reported a 15% revenue rise to rupees 805 crore, with profit jumping to rupees 347 crore, driven by strong performance from Naukri.com. 13th news. InfoEdge reported a 15% revenue rise to rupees 805 crore, with profit jumping to rupees 347 crore, driven by strong performance from Naukri.com. 14th news. Reliance NU Energies won 750 megawatts in SJVN's renewable energy tender at a tariff of rupees 6.74 per kilowatt-hour, enhancing its clean energy portfolio. 15th news. India recorded $16.8 billion in October deals, a 134% rise from September, led by strong momentum in banking and financial services. 16th news. Waaree Energies has just secured a massive order for 360 megawatts of solar modules, boosting its production capacity in the renewable energy sector. 17th news. In other news, the Adani Group is making waves with a huge rupees 25,000 crore rights issue at rupees 1,800 per share, set to open on November 17th, aimed at funding their infrastructure and energy expansion. 18th news. State Bank of India has signed a non-binding term sheet to acquire nearly 30,000 shares of CareEdge Global IFSC, representing a 9.9% stake. 19th news. Ather Energy saw a major block deal with 87 lakh shares traded, worth rupees 542 crore, pushing its stock up by over 4%. 20th news. ICRA has raised its fiscal year 2026 bank credit growth forecast to between rupees 19.5 and rupees 21 trillion, reflecting strong annual growth expectations. 21st news. Infosys has set November 14th as the record date for its rupees 18,000 crore share buyback at rupees 1,800 per share. 22nd news, Ashok Leyland shares climbed 5.5% to rupees 150.49, following a 9.3% revenue rise to rupees 9,588 crore. 23rd news, Page Industries reported a flat net profit of rupees 195 crore, with revenue up 3.6%, leading to some mild selling pressure in the stock. 24th news, SEBI approved Westbridge Capital's plan to acquire up to 15% stakes in Edelweiss subsidiaries, enhancing its influence in India's financial sector. 25th news, India's retail inflation has dropped to a record low of 0.25% in October, strengthening expectations of an upcoming RBI rate cut. 26th news, the NCLT has reserved its judgment on Vedanta's demerger case, potentially delaying its financial restructuring roadmap amid government claims worth Rs700 crore. 27th news, banks are urging the RBI to ease the 45% loss given default rule, suggesting a 5-10% range for secured exposures to align with actual risk. 28th news, Gift Nifty opened at 25,942, down 0.06%, as investors anticipate a December rate cut following the CPI drop to 0.25%. 29th news, Samvardhana Motherson reported a 6% decline in Q2 net profit to rupees 827 crore, raising concerns over future profitability. 30th news, record low retail inflation of 0.25% in October has raised hopes of a repo rate reduction, with GSEC yields expected to soften before the December monetary policy meeting. 31st news, Tata Motors shares declined up to 4% ahead of its second quarter earnings report, but its commercial vehicles division made a strong debut at rupees 330, marking a 28% rise from its discovery price. 32nd news, the Indian rupee strengthened to 88.50 after the RBI's $2 billion sell-off, benefiting major IT companies like TCS. Meanwhile, the Sensex climbed 0.8% to 84,500. 33rd news, India's GDP is projected to grow 7.2% in Q2, driven by strong domestic demand and low retail inflation, signaling a resilient economic outlook. 34th news, October's CPI inflation dropped to a record low of 0.25%, easing pressure on the RBI for future interest rate adjustments. 35th news, India's overall GDP growth for FY26 is projected at 7.4%, supported by GST reforms and higher public sector investments. 36th and final news, IRCTC reported a net profit of rupees 342 crore, an 11% year-on-year increase, along with an interim dividend of rupees 5 per share, showcasing its strong operational performance. That wraps up today's market brief. Stay connected with OI Charts for daily insights on the markets, economy, and corporate developments.